These are always fun videos. Today, it is cheap versus expensive between a new Fender Player II Jaguar and something that is like 8 times the price in this amazing custom shop Jaguar. Stick around. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee.
I'm Cooper Greenberg.
And we are here with Alamo Music in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you are new to our channel, welcome. Make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos. If you want to support the channel, visit our spring store, link below for our custom swag, and check out our podcast. It's called the Fretboard Confessional, wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts.
Finally.
So, yeah, it's back up. So thanks for joining us here today, guys. We are doing a very fun cheap versus expensive. That's always pretty relative, but I think this is a fun kind of head-to-head comparison.
Cheap-ish, so don't get sheepish, because we're just saying cheap-ish. This is not the cheapest guitar that we've got in the studio today.
No.
We had a really killer guitar for $299 that I'm still in the mode of that video. However, this is also sort of an excuse to show off the new Player II Jag, because up to this point, we've talked Tellys, HH Tellys, Strats, Mustangs, Jazzmasters, bunch of new stuff. We got the Jaguar in, so I think now we represent the full line of the first run.
In beautiful coral red.
Coral.
You got to say it like The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Coral.
Yeah, this is coral red, and that is, the color is actually Walking Dead.
That's Walking Dead Shoreline Gold.
Yes. Faded age Shoreline Gold.
There you go.
Really cool color.
This is what happens. You know, one thing they never cover in those zombie shows is a music store, you know, and what happens with some guitars in there, you know, many years into the apocalypse. I would love an episode on some kind of a zombie show where it shows some guy has just decided to, in the middle of the apocalypse, hoard all of the guitars that were abandoned in music shops. That'd be great. People are looking for like food. No, I'm looking for a 59 Les Paul.
Looking for a 59 Les Paul, and then in the show he goes in there and cranks up an amp and plays Sweet Child of Mine, and that's how the zombies find it.
AMC, are you listening? You know, they've got that new spin-off show.
Yeah.
That's what they could do it with. So, very cool guitars, but dramatically different price points. They are both Jags, if you're not familiar with Jaguars. Really envisioned at its inception to be the top-of-the-line Fender electric guitar with a bunch of bells and whistles. And one of the biggest things for me is a shorter scale length at 24 inches. It is shorter than your typical Gibson scale length, way shorter than a typical, an inch and a half shorter than typical Fender scale length. So the feels are dramatically different. And on your traditional Jaguar, you've got all of the different switching and rhythm circuit options. It's a cool guitar that has, you know, had difficulty finding its market, found its market later on, but just never really reached the popularity of Strats and Tellys.
Yeah.
Jazzmaster, same way. But I love offset bodies. I dig all of this stuff.
I do too. So, you know, we did a video on that custom shop Jag by itself when we got it in a couple weeks ago. And kind of the whole point was, one, it's a very versatile guitar, and people should not, you know, forget about the Jag. They forgot about Jag. But at the time, knowing that this was coming in, I was like, I wish that they had more Jaguars and more affordable price points, because at the time, it's like you got a Squire Jag, but you don't have an American Pro 2 Jag or American Performer Jag, Ultra Jag, Ultra Lux Jag, American Vintage Jag. None of the in-between stuff. And so we got the Player 2 with the right pickups in it.
Yes. Because
the Player version was kind of off.
Yes.
So it wasn't a true Jag, in my opinion. Now the question is this a true Jag?
Well, it's a good question. It's more of a true Jag than the Ultra that I will forever make fun of. And I know Fender hates when I say that. But when they did make an Ultra Jag for the anniversary, they didn't make a Jag. They made a Jazzmaster with humbucking pickups and called it a Jag. What the hell? But
what are you doing?
And then we never got one.
Yeah.
And I wasn't upset. So it's fine. I think we know where we both stand on that, Fender. So in that regard, yes, this is definitely more Jag. Is it missing some cool switching knobs up here?
And down there.
And down here. Yes, it is. It's eschewed that for a different approach that one could argue is maybe more player friendly. You could also argue that it's done definitely for cost saving, but also with some historical context of players like Johnny Marr, who loves Jags, but like tapes up the switch and that kind of thing.
So basically what we're working with here is a made in Mexico Jaguar for currently...
Made in Ensenada. Oh, that's in Mexico, since now they all say made in Ensenada, which is in Mexico.
Yeah. This is made in Mexico. And it is an alder body with a rosewood fingerboard and a maple neck, vintage style tuners, some new Player II series pickups that are the right pickups for a Jaguar, single coil in the neck and the bridge with the shielding on there. 3-way switch, volume and tone, simple, and a nice Jag Jazzmaster tremolo type setup. Yeah,
it is a little interesting. So it is your somewhat traditional Jazzmaster Jaguar tremolo, but it doesn't lock.
Yeah,
which I thought was interesting. They switched out the saddles to Mustang saddles, which I think is a plus. That was often what people did aftermarket, but it's still moving. So I had this conversation with someone the other day. If you're not familiar with Fender's offsets, traditionally, that bridge is set up to kind of rock. It's meant to do that with the tremolo. And it actually is a bonus mote for the most part for an intonation standpoint.
Bonus.
Particularly if you have these kinds of saddles where the string's not likely to pop out like they do on some vintage style stuff. But you should also know going into that not everyone understands how that works or even likes the way it works. And so sometimes you get differences, like in this case, it's a Mastery bridge.
RSD bridge.
Yeah, RSD bridge. But you've got, what was the other one where they put... it was the Ultra Jazz Masters. They like put grommets in there so that it didn't rock. So, your mileage may vary. Some people understand that. They dig it. Other people are like, no, I don't want to do that. So there you
go. Otherwise, straight up Player II series. They've been great so far. We've sold through a good amount of them, and I think they're being received well. Custom shop side, we got the whole video on this if you're interested in the things that make it unique. This is 64 Jag. And
it locks.
It's a locking tremolo. It's got the very cool RSD bridge that is not available for separate purchase.
People will pull these off and sell them for like hundreds of dollars on eBay.
Yeah. So I like the bridge. It's awesome. Single coil pickups, hand wound 64 Jag pickups, and it's got the rhythm circuit, and it's got your pickup switching that's true to a Jaguar. Jaguar, I think actually is how it's pronounced. And
aluminum.
Yeah, aluminum. And it's journeyman finish, so it's got nice checking and it's
subtle. It's got some wear, but
I think, as I said in that video, that's top of the top when somebody's looking for a Jag, and I really love that guitar. But I think also a lot of people want the aesthetic of a Jaguar. They want the sound of that jangly trem kind of Johnny Marr sound, or indie, new wave, rock, shoegaze, that kind of alternative sound. That does it really, really well. This also does it in just a different way that's a little more simple and is a fraction of the price.
Well, let's take a listen, and then let's talk about some differences on the other side. Okay, so there you have it. 2 Jaguars that tell different stories at dramatically different prices. This part is where the comparison gets a lot of fun because now we're going to kind of discuss pricing and what maybe sets these apart. Outside of very modern style Jaguar pickups and Alnico 5s versus these vintage styles, what sets these apart is about $4,700.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's like 8 of those.
Yeah.
And change. You could get like...
And some change, yeah. So the first thing is that is made in Corona, California, and this is made way across the other side of the world.
it is, what do you think, 100 miles?
Maybe
you
so.
You think it's 100 miles?
Yeah, maybe so.
Well, the back of this headstock says made in Ensenada, and the back of this headstock says Fender Custom Shop. So that's definitely part of it. The bridge or the neck plate on that has a big F, and the neck plate on this has a serial number, and it says Fender Custom Shop. So right there, it's going to get more expensive by like $3,000 because it has a stamp. But there was a fascinating video a few years back, and I'm not going to remember who it was, but Philip McKnight, who does Know Your Gear, which is, by the way, great podcast, great YouTube channel. He really knows his stuff. I appreciate it. He was at the Fender Custom Shop, and I don't remember which builder he was talking to, but I think at some point they handed him a Squire, and they were like, point out, like, what are the big differences? And the biggest differences he talked about was kind of like the setup and the neck and the fretwork and like that kind of attention to detail.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, one of the things that you just have to simply contend with is everything about this guitar, outside of the fact that there's a fundamental recipe,
Yeah.
is different in nuanced aspects. Bodywood, I think, is both alder.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be more pieces than this. This is going to be sorted for better wood, that kind of a thing.
Same with the necks and the
Same with the necks, yeah. They're both rosewood boards. Not all rosewood's created equal. Everything's kind of like a little bit different, more bespoke, more handmade. The finishes are vastly different. This is a nitro finish that has wear through it. It doesn't have any kind of like poly base or anything like that. This is a thick polyester-based finish, which is cool. It's not going to wear on you. And then obviously, you know, some of the other key features,
hardware,
like
and
the hardware and the pickups and all that stuff. Hey, it comes with a case.
Yeah, that one comes with a case.
That one does not.
This one, but we'll get you one. I will say, I think if a brand like Fender is going to say, we make Jaguars, you look at the Strat and the Tele, you got a Strat and a Tele in every single price range, every single series. With the Jaguar, we have really entry-level, mid-tier, and really high-end.
Yep.
But there are plenty of people out there that, you know, they want a Jaguar, and they should have the opportunity to either get the absolute cheapest one, or if they want to go all out. That's why stuff like that exists, because you're getting an extremely high-quality instrument that is, you know, made with more attention to detail, more is handmade on it, more is hand work versus something like this, which is kind of right in the middle, not truly, you know, you get a few $100 version, and then you have a sub $1,000 version, and then you have, you know, a $5,000 version. Yeah. You know, something like this, I think, is going to be the sweet spot for a lot of different players, whether it's going to be a Jag, Jazzmaster, Strat, Tele, Mustang. It's nice to have something that it's a little bit of a step up, but not a total bank breaker. However, I like Jags, and I want to be able to play the one that is probably the nicest Jag that we ever had. So that's why that exists, and it's for the right person that wants that.
Well, and you know, one of the reasons I was excited about getting this is there are so many Teles and Strats out there, and we both love both of those models of guitar. But it's more of a rarity. I mean, if you take the vast amount of like Fender guitars that are out there, and how many of those in different series are Strats and Teles, and then you go up above that and you go, how many of those are custom shops? It gets much smaller, right?
Yeah.
And then how many of those custom shops are offsets? And then how many of those offsets from the custom shop are Jaguars? Like, it's a really small slice of the pie for what I think is a really underrated guitar. If there's anything about the Jaguar that I think is really slept on, it is the scale length. They are very comfortable to play guitars. because of that short scale. I think a lot of people, if they had the opportunity, would really dig these guitars. And I think we're fighting the good fight here to try to inform people, because I know product development guy at Fender also loves Jaguars, also would like to see them, in the spotlight and get their heyday. It really just comes down to people having the ability to try them and understand what's going on with these cool, quirky guitars. That's the big benefit of that.
Yeah.
Maybe what this does is create more fans for stuff like this.
Yeah.
The funny thing whenever we do this, like cheap versus expensive, is it's always a law of diminishing returns, right? Is this guitar $4,700 better? In what sense? Is it a better instrument? I don't know. It's a better instrument. Yeah. Is it $4,700 better? No, that's not really quantifiable, but it's unique and it's special. It's very, very cool. And if we had the money, I'd buy this one, not 8 of those.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have the money, I would definitely get one of those.
Yeah. And, we talked to a lot of acoustic guitar players, and they're all very choosy about their scale length.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no person that comes in for a 0028 that will settle for an OM28, you know? So electric guitar players, get on your game and figure out the scale length that you prefer, because that can help you find, or at least narrow down criteria, because I guarantee you a lot of people, like you said, would love the feel of this guitar over a Jazzmaster.
Yep.
But they may just know more about a Jazzmaster and go for that instead. So it's worth it to play them side by side and really see what you like and what feels right in your hands.
I'm always down for a fascinating discussion with someone about scale lengths and string gauges and, all of that stuff, because it's a lot of fun and I geek out about it. So if you ever want to have a conversation about that kind of stuff, I'm game. Not everyone all at once, okay? But
line up. All right.
But there you have it. If you are interested in a guitar, either of these or like this, I am pleased to say these started offset guitars. There's increasingly more offset guitars on the market, and I'm here for it. You can go to our website, which is
alamomusic.com.
That was so well said, super articulate. You see how you kind of your chest, and
it fills me with pride to talk about our website.
We work hard at it, so we hope you enjoy it. But go to our website and you can chat with live people, not bots. We don't use bots with our messaging, except to say, hey, we're not here right now because we're sleeping. But outside of that, we're going to talk to you, help you find the right gear to meet your needs, and sometimes introduce you to some new stuff that maybe you wasn't on your radar. So that's pretty cool stuff. And that's also why this channel exists. Bring you reviews of stuff that maybe you don't get easy access to, and show you things that maybe you didn't even know existed. So if you like that in guitars, what should they do?
You're going to want to subscribe to the channel and like the videos, comment on them, turn the notifications on, send them to your friends.
Comment on this one, right? So is this one worth it? Is it worth the huge increase in costs on that? Do you want it? And if you say yes, know that we are going to then identify you as a potential buyer.
Is it worth it? Let me work it. Take the headstock, flip it, and reverse it.
Yeah, you're good with those.
It's your Fender Custom Shop Jag. Am I right, guys? There we go.
There you go. So like you said, do all those things and keep coming back for more. We will be here wordsmithing for you next time.